Sameness can appear in any industry. Sameness is a combination of blending in and also a lack of differentiation. In fact, in a recent article that appeared in Sales and Marketing Management magazine, 70% of executives believe that their biggest threat to growth is their inability to differentiate. Blending in, this lack of differentiation, it can appear in any industry, and it often does. And if everyone is the same, what becomes the primary factor when making a buying decision? Right, it's all about price at that point. If you are better, if you have a better end-to-end experience, you don't have to be the cheapest. In fact, your customers don't expect you to be the cheapest. Right? I am a Target fan. Right? I enjoy going to Target. They've got great customer service. There's friendly staff. They have a good selection of products. The store is easier to navigate. I'll be the first to admit that the people watching is better at Walmart. All right, when you go there. But Target is really a better overall experience. Since Target has a better experience, they don't have to be the cheapest. What happens though is that we live in a culture of cheap where the word value has become a euphemism for cheap. Value-added selling is a business philosophy and it's simple. That's what makes value-added different than other training programs, is that it's built upon this bedrock philosophy to do more of that which adds value and less of that which adds little or no value.
Only 39% of salespeople believe that their solution is meaningfully different. Only 39%. So you've got a group of salespeople that can't differentiate, and you've got a group that doesn't believe they are different. And if you don't believe you're different, how can you go out there and sell that difference? I'm looking at you, I'm looking at Donovan's, I'm looking at West Marine Road. It's apples to apples. It's the same thing. Mike, has anyone ever said that to you? It's annoying, isn't it? Because you know it's not the truth. Well, you know what you can say the next time they say that? Are you all ready for this? You can say that there's over 2,500 varieties of apples grown in the US alone. So which apples are you talking about? For my international folks, there's over 7,500 apples grown worldwide. All right, so it's never just apples. And I know Mike's gonna do it. You're gonna pull that out. You can't wait for someone to say apples to apples.
The reality is, as most people are unaware of the air they breathe, most customers are unaware of the value they receive. When it comes to getting credit for your value, nobody gets the credit that they deserve. You only get the credit that you ask for. You have to remind customers of your value added, because if they forget about it, it's as if it never happened. And if your value added never happened, what becomes a bigger deal? Price does. But what we must remember about value is that it's deeply personal, and it's the customer's definition of value that matters. One of the biggest hurdles salespeople tell us when they come into our training is that, we get this whole value thing, but I go talk to a customer and right off the bat they say, "What's your price on this?" Or "Give me your best price." And the customer is attempting to proactively steer the conversation towards price, because if they do that, they can focus on getting a cheaper price. So when your salespeople respond to that, they need to do one thing. They need to change the conversation from price to cost. If you're talking cost, you can sell value. If you're talking price, you can lower it. And that's about it. Some of the best companies in the world, what they don't do is look at their competition and say, hey, they're doing this, we could do it just a little bit better or a little bit different. Instead, they look internally at their own potential, and they're less concerned about what the competition is doing. Now, the reality is that your best customers are also your competition's best prospects, right? And as hard as you worked to get that business, there is a salesperson working just as hard or even harder to try and win that business. For that reason, we have to continue to tinker with our solution. We've got to look for ways to recreate value. There's always something more we can do, because you can't get better for your customers until you first admit that you can get better. Now, one of the most important things we revealed in our research on top achieving salespeople is how they reinforce their value added.
What do you need from us? What do you need from me as your salesperson? These are questions that cause the buyer to think bigger. The last thing we want to do to enlarge that conversation is answer 3 questions for the buyer. And those questions are, why should they want to buy your products or services? Why should they want to buy it from your company? And then last, why should they want to buy from you as the salesperson? Because remember, you bring 25% of the value as the salesperson. So you got to answer that question, why you? But you got to make big promises, right? We have to make big promises and raise that buyer's expectations, and then we come through for that customer. And the key is when we raise that expectation level, we're not only raising the expectation level within our own company, it can happen industry-wide. So as we leave this session, remember that you can exceed your customers' expectations. The more we do that, the less price is an issue. And the best way to do it is to ask the question, what else can I do for my customer? Thank you all very much.